When we hear the name Thor, most of us instantly think of the superhero from Marvel, the hammer-wielding, cape-flying, blockbuster hero. But long before the comics and movies, Thor was a central figure in Norse mythology, a god whose story is far richer, far older, and far more complex than what Hollywood shows us. Thor is the god of thunder, protector of Asgard, and one of the most formidable beings in the Norse pantheon. His mighty hammer, Mjolnir, can crush mountains, summon lightning, and always returns to his hand no matter how far it's thrown. Yet, unlike the polished hero we see in modern movies, the Thor of Norse legend is a mix of immense strength, fierce temper, and impulsive behavior. He's not always wise, not always calm, and certainly not always the good guy, but he is always powerful, always relentless, and always larger than life. In this video, we're diving deep into the world of Norse mythology to explore the real Thor, the god who battled giants, faced cosmic serpents, and defended the realms of gods and men alike. Get ready to see a side of Thor that's wild, unpredictable, and utterly legendary. Thor was born as the son of Odin, the all-father of the Norse gods, and Frigg, the goddess associated with the earth and fertility. But there's an interesting twist. Through his mother, Thor inherited a giant, or Jotun, lineage. In fact, Thor is 3/4 Jotun, making him part giant by blood. Here's the irony. Despite his giant heritage, Thor is famously hostile toward the Jotnar. Throughout Norse myths, he constantly battles these giants, who themselves despise him in return. Thor's hatred for the Jotnar is so legendary that his name often evokes fear among them. This complex relationship reflects a recurring theme in Norse mythology. Even gods are bound by fate, ancestry, and rivalry, often in ways they cannot fully control. Thor's family doesn't end there. He fathered several children, some with his own Jotun lineage. His sons Modi and Magni, whose names mean courageous and mighty, inherit not just his strength, but also his bold, fearless nature. Thor also has a daughter, Thorin, whose name symbolizes confidence and power, traits she inherited from her father. In addition to his biological children, Thor raised several adopted children, including Ullr, whose parentage varies across sources, and other children taken in from mortals or giants he had conquered. These children were often raised alongside him and his wife Sif, learning the ways of gods and warriors. Thor's origins and family ties reveal a god who is both a product of divine and giant blood, a protector of Asgard, and a figure deeply entwined in the complex web of relationships, rivalries, and legacies that define the Norse pantheon. His strength, courage, and fiery temper are all shaped by this extraordinary lineage, making him one of the most fascinating and unpredictable gods in mythology. Thor is immediately recognizable in Norse mythology for his incredible physical presence. He is described as immensely muscular and physically powerful, arguably the strongest of all the Norse gods. His strength is not just a symbol of raw power, but also a reflection of his role as protector of Asgard, standing between the gods and the chaotic forces of the giants. One of the most debated aspects of Thor's appearance is his hair. Some sources describe it as fiery red, matching his legendary temper and explosive nature in battle. Other poetic accounts, however, suggest that his hair shines brighter than gold, hinting at a more divine, radiant look, possibly blonde. Regardless of the exact shade, his hair is often considered as remarkable and striking as his deeds, symbolizing the intensity and energy that Thor embodies. The very name Thor is deeply symbolic. Derived from words meaning thunder, lightning, and storm, his identity is inseparable from the forces of nature itself. In the Old Norse calendar, Thursday was known as Thorsdag, meaning Thor's day, which survives in the modern English word Thursday. This association emphasizes Thor's dominion over both the natural world and the cycles of time that shaped Viking life. Among the Vikings and other Germanic peoples, Thor was revered as a dominant and courageous figure. He was more than a god of storms. He symbolized raw power, protection, and the courage to confront threats head-on. Warriors would call upon him for strength in battle, while common folk revered him as a guardian against giants and chaotic forces. Though his association with war and storms further reinforced his image as a god who was both formidable and unpredictable, feared by enemies yet respected by allies. In essence, Thor's appearance and symbolism paint a picture of a god who embodies strength, bravery, and fiery energy, a divine warrior whose very presence commands attention, awe, and sometimes fear. His image captures the essence of Norse values: courage, loyalty, and the relentless struggle against chaos. Thor is not just a god of raw strength. His power is amplified and symbolized through a series of legendary artifacts that make him one of the most formidable deities in Norse mythology. Each of these items carries its own story and significance, reflecting Thor's role as protector of gods and humans alike. The most iconic of Thor's weapons is undoubtedly Mjolnir, the mighty hammer forged by the dwarves Brock and Sindri. Unlike ordinary weapons, Mjolnir is virtually indestructible and always returns to Thor's hand when thrown. Its power is immense. It can level mountains, destroy giants, and summon thunder and lightning across the skies. Mjolnir is more than a weapon. It is a symbol of protection, strength, and divine authority. The hammer's design also embodies balance and precision, capable of delivering devastating force without being careless, a reflection of Thor's disciplined might. To further enhance his natural power, Thor wears the Belt of Strength, or Meggingjord. This magical belt doubles his already prodigious strength, allowing him to confront enemies far larger and more powerful than even ordinary gods. When paired with Mjolnir, Meggingjord ensures that Thor can match the most fearsome threats the cosmos can produce. This belt represents not just power but preparation. Thor's victories are as much about strategy and tools as raw force. Equally essential are Thor's iron gloves, known as Jarngripr. While Mjolnir is incredibly powerful, it is impossible to wield with bare hands. The gloves allow Thor to handle the hammer safely and effectively, ensuring that he can unleash its full might in battle. These gloves highlight a recurring theme in Norse mythology. Even gods rely on specialized artifacts to harness their powers fully. Thor's mobility and presence are as legendary as his strength. He travels across the skies in a chariot pulled by two magical goats, Tan Grisnir and Tan Miastra. These goats are extraordinary. Thor can consume them for sustenance during his journeys and then resurrect them the next day, whole and alive. This strange but fascinating attribute underscores Thor's connection to life, death, and renewal, as well as his practicality in surviving the harsh realities of a mythic world. Together, these artifacts form a complete system of divine might. Mjolnir channels destructive power. Meggingjord amplifies his strength. Jarngripr allows precision and control, and the chariot with its goats gives him unmatched mobility. Through them, Thor is not just a god of brute force, but a master of tools, strategy, and resilience, ready to confront giants, monsters, and the chaotic forces that threaten Asgard and Midgard. Thor's legend is filled with daring exploits, epic battles, and moments of cunning that highlight both his strength and his cunning. While often remembered as a fearless warrior, many of his adventures reveal a mix of heroism, humor, and even vulnerability. One of the most famous tales begins with a crisis. Thor's beloved hammer, Mjolnir, is stolen by the mischievous Loki. Without his hammer, Thor is vulnerable, and the giants of Jotunheim grow bold. To retrieve it, Thor and Loki embark on a clever plan, which involves tricking the goddess Freya, and even the king of the giants. Through cunning, deception, and Thor's raw force, Mjolnir is ultimately returned, restoring order and reaffirming Thor's role as the protector of Asgard. This story highlights Thor's reliance not just on brute strength, but also on clever strategies, often guided by the unpredictable Loki. Thor's might is perhaps most spectacularly displayed in his duel with Hrungnir, the strongest of the Jotnar. Hrungnir challenges Thor to combat wielding a massive stone weapon. The duel is fierce, and Thor triumphs using Mjolnir, showcasing his superior strength and combat skill. Remarkably, his son Magni, only 3 days old, demonstrates extraordinary strength by helping lift Hrungnir's leg off a fallen opponent, foreshadowing the next generation of mighty warriors in Thor's lineage. This battle not only underscores Thor's power, but also the legacy of strength within his family. Thor's rivalry with Jormungand, the colossal Midgard serpent, is a tale of fate and inevitability. Their encounters are filled with tension and foreboding, culminating in the prophecy that they will face each other in a final, deadly battle during Ragnarok, the end of the world. These stories of Thor and Jormungandr illustrate the themes of destiny and cosmic balance in Norse mythology. No matter how powerful, even gods are subject to fate. Thor's adventures also include a journey to the sea to retrieve a giant cauldron belonging to the Jotunheimr. During this quest, Thor engages in a legendary fishing expedition, nearly capturing Jormungandr itself. The story combines humor, suspense, and Thor's immense strength as he struggles against the enormous serpent while simultaneously navigating the cunning of the giants. It showcases both the adventurous and larger-than-life aspects of Thor's character. In another legendary adventure, Thor and his companions visit Utgard, where they face seemingly impossible trials. Thor is subjected to a series of challenges, an eating contest against the giant Logi, lifting a mysterious cat, and drinking from a horn that seems endless. Despite his immense power, Thor struggles, only to discover that each challenge was an illusion designed to test him beyond normal limits. This tale emphasizes that even the god of thunder has limits, and that wisdom and perception are as crucial as strength. Through these stories, Thor emerges not just as a god of war and storms, but as a multi-dimensional hero, fearless yet fallible, cunning yet blunt, and always larger than life. Each adventure illustrates his role as a defender of gods and humans, a god bound by fate, and a symbol of courage, determination, and enduring strength. Thor is not the calm, measured hero that modern adaptations sometimes portray. In Norse mythology, he is temperamental and strong-willed, a god whose fiery personality matches the thunder and lightning he commands. His anger is legendary, often erupting at the slightest insult or challenge, yet it is tempered by his unwavering loyalty and courage. Thor is the eternal protector of Asgard and Midgard, willing to face giants, monsters, and cosmic threats without hesitation. Despite his raw strength, Thor is not always wise. Many tales show him being tricked or outwitted, especially by Loki, the god of mischief. Yet these moments do not diminish his reputation. Instead, they make him more relatable and human-like, illustrating that even gods are capable of mistakes. His respect among the other gods and mortals stems from a combination of his valor, reliability, and sense of justice. No one questions Thor's commitment to defending the realms, and his presence alone inspires courage. Thor's legacy transcends his mythological exploits. He embodies the virtues most revered by the Norse people: strength, bravery, and unwearying duty. Farmers, warriors, and sailors alike invoked his name to protect their homes and families from chaos and danger. His hammer, Mjolnir, became more than a weapon. It was a sacred symbol of protection and divine authority, worn by warriors and common folk alike. In a broader sense, Thor represents divine justice and the raw power of nature. He is a god who acts decisively, punishing wrongdoers, defending the innocent, and ensuring that the balance of the cosmos is maintained. Even in modern times, his image resonates as a symbol of courage and resilience, reminding us that strength is not just physical, but also moral and spiritual. Ultimately, Thor is a god of contrasts: fierce yet protective, impulsive yet honorable, destructive yet just. His stories continue to inspire, entertain, and teach lessons about bravery, responsibility, and the enduring struggle between order and chaos. In the tapestry of Norse mythology, Thor is not merely a hero. He is a force of nature, a protector of worlds, and a timeless symbol of power and courage. Thor stands as one of the most complex and fascinating figures in Norse mythology. He is heroic yet flawed, incredibly strong yet sometimes impulsive, and always fiercely dedicated to protecting Asgard and Midgard. Throughout the myths, we see a god who embodies both raw power and moral duty, a figure whose thunderous presence strikes fear into his enemies and inspires awe among gods and mortals alike. From wielding his legendary hammer Mjolnir to battling giants, serpents, and otherworldly challenges, Thor's stories reveal a multidimensional character, a god who is brave, loyal, temperamental, and sometimes easily outwitted, yet never failing to rise to the occasion when it matters most. He is the ultimate protector, a symbol of courage, strength, and divine justice, whose legacy has endured for centuries. But the story of Thor is far from over. Norse mythology is filled with countless adventures, secrets, and lessons, many of which remain intriguing to this day. We want to hear from you. Which stories about Thor, his battles, or his interactions with other gods do you want to explore next? Leave your thoughts and questions in the comments. Your curiosity helps keep these ancient myths alive. In the end, Thor reminds us that even the strongest and mightiest are never perfect, yet it is their courage, loyalty, and willingness to face the impossible that truly defines them. So, whether you admire him as a warrior, a protector, or a mythological legend, Thor's story continues to resonate through time, echoing with the thunder of heroism and the power of enduring myth.